So, about a month ago, I attended the World of Retro Computing Expo here in Kitchener, Ontario. And there were lots of really cool things there, and there were quite a few things for sale, and I did buy a number of things. And one of the more interesting things that I bought is something you've probably heard of and seen before, but it's the Koala Pad from 1983. And I figured I'd show it off to you guys, so let's get into it. And here it is. This is the Koala Pad. Essentially what this is just a really old graphics tablet for the Commodore 64, and it was also released for the Apple II and I think Atari 8-bit machines. And yeah, this might be one of the first graphics tablets for personal computers, and it's really cool. It's just got like a pad you can draw on, and then it's got a couple buttons, and it plugs into the joystick port. Fortunately, I don't have the original box. I just got it loose here. So anyway, let's try it out. The software would have originally come on cartridge, but I don't have the original cartridge either, so I found a cracked version online that's on like a disk image, so I'm going to load that up in my floppy drive emulator and we'll use that, and that works just fine. Okay, so here we are. I've got my Commodore 64 hooked up here. I've got the Koala Painter, Koala Pad thing hooked up, and I've got the software loaded up, and I don't have the original stylus, but I do have this old HP Pocket PC, which has this stylus, which works pretty well. Here we are in the software. We got like this menu here. We can do things like draw circles and fill things and mirror things and draw lines and stuff. So let's just hit draw. Let's try to free draw something. And then we can use the stylus to move the thing around the screen. And then to draw, we hold down one of the buttons and then move the stylus around on the pad. As you can see, it's not very accurate. So we're trying to draw a circle here. And there's a fair bit of like delay between when I actually make the action and when it actually draws on the screen. This could have to do with the age of it, but this free draw function is not very good, not very accurate. But anyway, there's a little bit of abstract art for you. Let's go back to our menu. And here we can do a number of things. So let's try drawing a frame, which should draw a box. There. And there we go. Got the entire 16 color palette of the 64 to choose from here. Plus there's like these fake color, they're like, well, fake colors, quote unquote. They're basically just like dithered versions of the regular 16 colors. So let's select blue here. Let's go to fill, select blue, and as you can see the border changes blue. Fill in that area there, and it does a flood fill. Change the color. Here's one of those dithered, like fake colors. So we do like a dithered green, and that should give us sort of like an artificial dark green. It's more kind of like a purple, actually. Okay, so something I didn't notice until I was editing this video is that it doesn't always mix the color with black. It actually like alternates that color with whatever previous color you had. So since I had previously selected blue and then I selected the dithered green, it will basically just alternate blue and green to create sort of a purple. For shapes we can draw like a circle. You can draw discs. There's between circle and disc, and as well as the same with box and frame. Box will just draw an outline, whereas a frame will just draw an outline. Box will just draw a box and then fill it in. So let's select that. So I can fill that in there. Put it there. And as you can see, it automatically fills it in when I select box. Whereas frame, it just draws an outline. I can copy areas around, and there's a number of things I can do here. So I can go like copy, we'll copy this area right here, select, and then move it over down here. And there we go, we've copied that area around from the middle to that bottom corner. We can zoom in and edit the individual pixels. We'll do zoom. We can zoom in right there. And then we can do like some pixel art. That. See them like zoomed in down the bottom and then sort of part of the full image up top. You can do some pretty cool pixel art like this. You can pick between several different brushes here for the draw function. So let's do draw. We'll select that brush. And then, there we go, we got a bit different of a brush. So anyway, there's my absolute masterpiece. So let's get out of that. I'm gonna hit erase here, which should clear our picture from memory. So I'm gonna try to draw a circle here. So I got circle selected, and got black. There's my circle, and I'm gonna place it right there. There's our big old circle, and I'm gonna draw a bit of a smiley face. There's one eye, but I'm gonna zoom in on the eye, and I'm gonna give it some blue pupils by getting some pixel art. There we go. And then I'm going to copy that eye, copy that area there, and I'm going to paste it over here. And there we go. I'm going to zoom in on the middle, and I'm going to give him a bit of a nose. There's my nose. I know my absolutely amazing art skills. So now I want to give it a mouth. And I'm just going to try to freehand this. So we'll see how that goes. That does not look good at all. Let's try that again. So we'll go to the oops button here. And I'm going to choose a thicker brush. That's not bad. So now let's fill it in. So I'm gonna go fill, and I'm gonna fill it in with yellow. So I'm gonna select yellow here. And I love watching flood fills. It's just so satisfying. The fill routines are pretty slow, but it's fun just to watch it sort of fill in. So there is my absolutely amazing piece of artwork there. I know I'm not very good with drawing things. I'm sure other people can do some much nicer things with this software and with this graphics tablet. But anyway, I'm going to save it. So I'm going to go storage. Should do name and save. Pick A. Give it a name. Call it face. Hit enter. And there we go. Save his face. So yeah, that is the Koala Painter software and a bit of a demo of the Koala Pad. Okay, so now I've got a couple of these paddles hooked up to my Commodore 64. And I've got this little basic program here. It's just going to peek the registers 54297 and 54298, which basically just reads those registers and it will print them to the screen. And what these registers are is they're basically the analog input registers on the joystick port, or joystick port 1 actually. And it's actually read by the SID chip. So let's run it. As you can see, it's going 255, but as I turn this paddle this way, as you can see, the number's going down. See, it's 0, and then as I turn the paddle, the number on the left is increasing all the way up to 255, and that's all the way. Same thing with this paddle. If I turn it this way, as you can see, that number is decrementing, and as I turn it the other way, it's incrementing, and it's inputting essentially an analog value. Okay, so now I've unplugged the paddles, and I've plugged the Koala Pad back in, and let's run it. As you can see, it's outputting 4, and as I move my pen around, as you can see, those values are changing. Because this thing uses the same inputs, the same analog inputs on the joystick port, which goes to the SID chip actually, that the paddles use. So the top corner is like 3, 4 in there, and as I move down on the y-axis, as you can see, the second number is changing, and as I move on the x-axis, the first number is going up all the way up to 255. So you can see I've got you probably can't see, but I've got the pen in the top right hand corner, and this is basically as far on the x-axis as you can go, and the first number is 255. I take the pen off, it goes back to 4. If I go as far down on the y-axis, the other number is 255, and if I go all the way over to the bottom right hand corner, both x and y are 255. So yeah, it uses 2 analog inputs, well, the same ones the paddles use, and it's really cool that the SID chip is actually what's making this work. Alright, so let's take it apart. There are a number of screws on the back we have to take out. Okay, and now the top should just pop off like that. And there's the pad thing, and there's also a small circuit board. There's really not a whole lot to this, as I was expecting. There's a chip of some kind, I'm not totally sure what it does, and there's a few resistors and some buttons, and yeah, not a whole lot to it. Oh, and if you want to play around with the Koala Painter software yourself, but you don't have the actual Koala Pad, the cracked version I found online has actually been modified to also be able to be controlled with a joystick. I'll leave a link to it down below. And one final thing I just had to try is, can the software be controlled with paddles, and what's it like to control it with paddles, knowing what I said earlier. And yeah, you can control it with paddles here. One paddle moves it on the x-axis, and the other paddle moves it on the y-axis. Sort of reminds me of an Etch-a-Sketch, where you have one for up and down and one for left and right. It's actually almost exactly like using Etch-a-Sketch. Yeah, it's not super practical, but yes, you can in fact control it with the paddles. And so anyway, that's just about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.